Alright folks, Bitchiganese 88, we're back. Let's head on. Agent, I took a look at the poetry book you found. It was a series of linked pieces contrasting the violence of modern cities with the tranquility of nature. The edition itself was perfect, save for the title page, which somebody had torn to shreds. Perhaps reassembling it will yield some value. Interesting. I acquired some recondite initiative literature. They're an organization specializing in information about demons and curses. There's an entire section on the manifestation of curses. Maybe he was trying to research the curse haunting his family. Yeah, but I'm not so sure about that. This pamphlet also has a section describing a rare symbol, the same symbol that was drawn at the murder site. It's clear that Tetsuya is more involved in this than we think. Let's have another talk with him and see if he has a credible explanation for why he has these things. I think the first time we talked to him, there was a thought that he had a little bit more to this. It seems that this limited edition volume was dedicated to Bryce. The dedication is uniquely sinister. The sins of the flesh are the disgrace of a noble family. Silence is golden. It certainly sounds as though Tetsuya was aware of Mr. Bryce's dalliances, and that he intended to use them against him. Mr. Hiraoka, we found some rather disturbing things in your property that we need to talk to you about. Disturbing things? I cannot imagine what you found in my beautiful garden that could be disturbing. Let's start with the treasure trove of weaponry and literature from a fringe demonology group. Care to explain? Sounds pretty incriminating. Oh, they're simply research for a book I am writing. They have no relation to my real life. I like to handle items my character would. I like to try and see the world through their senses. Besides, given that you are Americans, I would think you'd be sympathetic to keeping weapons for self-defense. You say these weapons have no relation to your real life, but you also imply that they're for self-defense. I recommend you start being honest with us. Alright, you're right. I apologize for my deception. It's just my entire career is centered around my peaceful acceptance of my own impending death. In truth, death haunted my nightmares. I began taking obsessive measures to protect myself. Coming to this walled estate, buying the guns. I know it seems irrational, but they made me feel safer. I was selling my stake in the family company so I could afford to buy a private island off of the coast of Dubai. I thought that by leaving Japan I could perhaps also escape the curse and save my life. So you truly expect us to believe the story of Mr. Hiraoka? It matters not to me if you do or not. All I know is my older brother died, and I fear whatever took him will take me too, and I intend to fight. Well, we intend to fight too, Mr. Hiraoka. To find your brother's murder, I imagine we'll be seeing you again soon. Hiraoka claims to have been afraid for his life, but I'm not buying the bereaved brother act. There's something going on here. We just need to prove it. I might be buying it if it's the other guy that killed him to get this guy paranoid. If you found a way to stockpile illegal weapons in Japan, then you certainly made contact with some sort of underworld element. Let's give Sakura a call and see if Tetsuya has appeared on the radar. I researched Tetsuya as Reddington asked. Initially, the only things I could find about him were glowing reviews and career triumphs. He is known as quite the storyteller. However, I did find one crack in his facade. Apparently, the choice to leave the family company was not Tetsuya's. He was forced out by his brother after his father's death. The rift was very bitter, and Tetsuya vowed to fight for what was his, but instead he vanished for 2 years before returning to public life with publishing of his first book. I was unable to determine what he was doing during his time away from the public eye, or why he decided to write instead of fight for control over the company. But by all accounts, his relationship with his family was cold until he recently reached out to his nephew Aoto in the recent months leading up to Yukio's death. I also found that Tetsuya recently got a parking ticket in a lot near the ferry to Toshima Island. While there's nothing that proves he traveled to the island, it's an interesting coincidence. I'm guessing that it isn't a coincidence at all. I think we should check the island where Yukio was murdered again to see if we can find anything that puts Tetsuya anywhere near the scene. Sounds like a plan. Alright, we made it. We need to move quickly before someone shows up and asks why there's a private plane parked near the scene of an active murder investigation. Keep your eyes open for anything unusual. If there's a clue we missed that will help us to Yukio's killer, we need to find it. Alright. Machine gun. Floodlights. Diver helmet. Finger. That seems like that would be, not something normal. Well, prosthetic pinky is not generally the sort of thing you expect to find at a murder site. Our victim had all of his fingers, so that probably belongs to the killer. Prosthetics are usually individually crafted. Maybe there's a way to identify the owner of this pinky. Sakura should be able to access the local databases for us. Let's see if she can help us figure out who owned this prosthetic. This is the guys from the Yakuza, basically. Prosthetic pinky. Our killer is likely a practitioner of Yubitsumi. It's an act of self-mutilation where a Yakuza removes the tip of his pinky to atone for a shameful act. Reddington said that Yukio was a business associate, so it's probably possible that the Yakuza could be behind the power play against him. Ferguson Bryce was clearly being blackmailed to do something. Perhaps it was to mask the Yakuza takeover of Araba Tusu. Let's talk to him and find out. A very hard word to say. Mr. Bryce, we need to talk to you about a gift that somebody gave you recently that we discovered. Of course. What are you referring to? We found this at the home of Tetsuya Hiraoka, who, as we're certain you know, is a brother of our murder victim. Can you shed some light on it? Show it to him, Agent. That's the book. We found this book of Hiraoka's poetry. It seems the title page had a personal note to you, a very threatening note. Oh, dang it, I didn't even want that thing. I tore the note out and threw the whole book in the dirt. Is that what you lied to us about meeting with him? He was blackmailing you? He was helping. My business often brought me to Japan. After my last trip, I received a note containing a photo of me and someone else. I was told that if I did not want my wife to see it, I needed to follow their instructions, which were to take a controlling share of the struggling Arabara Torusu company. I think they had something on Tetsuya Hiraoka too. He was the one passing me the instructions, feeding me information about his family, even though he claimed to love them. Do you know who killed Yukio Hiraoka, Mr. Price? I don't, but whoever did messed up the takeover. Two of the major shareholders were removed by his death to keep their shares and try to keep the company alive in his memories. There's no way I'm going to be able to take a controlling share in the company now, and my wife is going to find out everything. Maybe not, Mr. Bryce. I think you've given us the final information we need to bring Tetsuya into custody. Always going to have Kaplan. 85%. Well, when so much is at stake, it's often best to look for solutions outside of office channels or official channels. I agree. And it's the whole reason we're playing Blacklist. So Tetsuya Hiraoka disappeared an angry young man and returned as a man of arts and letters. What a transformation. Or it would be if he wasn't involved in this mess. It seems as though wherever Mr. Hiraoka was, he learned that revenge is a dish best served cold. I'll try to determine where that was. So one of Japan's most famous authors has actually inserted himself into a real-life tale of blackmail and family betrayal. I guess life is stranger than fiction. Mr. Kaplan looked into Tetsuya's background. There was a long legal battle prior to his official removal from the family company. During the trial, she found that he was staying rent-free in a building owned by a known Yakuza member. My guess is they were giving him room and board for a stake in the family fortune. When his stocks recently began to fall, so the Yakuza must have wanted a change in management. The Yakuza and I have never been on the best of terms. We need to figure out just how involved they are in this move. And now that you've ascertained that Tetsuya was blackmailing our tragically lustful Mr. Bryce, go bring him into custody and see if he can tell us about his friends. Will do. You guys keep having me play previous cases. According to Tetsuya's servants, he left the house this afternoon. He didn't inform them where he was going. Well, he could be trying to escape the country. We needed to search the estate to see if we could figure out where he is. Agreed. Invitation. Ripped photo. Don't know what that is, but there it is. Duffel bag, sandbag, wreath, turtle. I forget where the turtle is. Barrel's back here. Garbage bags here. Where's the turtle? Oh my gosh, I can't even see that. It's way too dark. Well, photograph of Tetsuya. It's been torn to shreds. Maybe we can figure out who else he's working with if we put it back together. Well, this formal invitation looks promising. Let's take a closer look at it and see if it sheds any light on where he's heading. Well, it looks like a standard author photo, but Tetsuya isn't wearing his trademark gloves, and there's something else he's missing, his pinky. There's never been any mention of Tetsuya losing his finger in any normal manner. This must have been an act of yubitsume, something only practiced by the Yakuza. Looks like Tetsuya is a lot more than the cultural figure. He's the Yakuza member we're looking for. Yep. Not shocking. Oh, sushi, yum. Boom. Great work, Agent. It's a formal invitation to a dinner that Tetsuya has arranged with his brother's business partners in memoriam for his death. Given that Bryce told us that Yukio's business partner was going to hold on to the company, I'm guessing that Tetsuya has a lot more planned for that dinner. Well, the logo on the invitation belongs to one of the most expensive sushi restaurants in town. The perfect place for an exclusive meal. Let's get over there. Nice. And we found evidence that Tetsuya is a member of the Yakuza. We think he's behind this entire operation. He's arranged a memorial dinner with his brother's business partners, and we're worried he's got something planned in light of their resistance to selling. Well, then we have a moment to lose. We need to get to that restaurant before we miss his reservation. We'll take my plane. Normally I'd say we don't have a moment to spare, but since this wraith figure already tried to kill us once, Agents, would you kindly search my plane for any hidden surprises? Alright. Take a look around and let me know if you find anything of interest before we take off. Lockpick. Oh wow. Nice find, Agent. That lockpick is pretty mangled. Is that blood? Our would-be saboteur appears to be none too skilled at the fine art of lockpicking. Well, the loss of blood is our gain. We'll need to run DNA analysis to see if we can find a trace of them in the database. Yep, so I will see you guys in an hour. This has been Pitching Ace 88. Over and out.